pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Apologize. Just trying to accommodate everybody as best we can. We're going to be imperfect, but we're going to do our best, and we'll get better as we go. First, I want to welcome all guests. Item 1.3 will be, are there any corrections or changes to the agenda? Any of the board members or Pete?
I have one correction, adding the budget report in part 6, probably 6.3, and future agenda will go to 6.4 and so on.
Okay.
Correction to item 6.6, selection of board director. It notes it as area 4, maybe change to area 2.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. We're going to start off with say something positive. Aaron, I will start with you. We'll just work our way down.
Just short and sweet. To me, driving in here, and I've had this, it's just a thankful feeling. And I think we all have something to be thankful for. So just kind of one word, and it's thankfulness.
Can you? Okay. I just wanted to say that the recent father-daughter and mother-son dance was a huge success. I heard from several community members that the organization was fantastic, the execution was really good. They had a fantastic time at that event, and it's good to see the community come out with the parents and the kids and have such a good time at our community facility here at the school. And thanks a bunch to those who organized that and made that happen. That turned out really well.
All right. Hey, I do want to celebrate that we actually have mics working this time, although sorry for the high pitch. We're going to work through some technical things to make it work. It's great to see everybody here. This is how it works. We all participate. The opportunity to say our piece, and I appreciate that. This is democracy in action. So thank you. I have two additional appreciations, and I have to, those who read my letter, I have to speak to reading. I just encourage you to read Michelle Neal's board report. It speaks of the tremendous growth we're seeing in our elementary reading program, which is huge. The amount of work that our teachers and paras and staff have put in to try to provide reading assistance due to the lagging behind because kids were out for a couple years. And so the whole idea of being able to get our reading scores back up is amazing because in the end our kids will be able to read. That's our foundation. And then the other is an expansive library report. So again, another reading, but if you take a chance to read through the library report, some amazing things our librarians are doing with our kids each and every day.
And I want to address in the reports in the consent agenda from our building principals, the elementary, middle, and high school. Every single one of those reports, if you go and read it, had mention of something positive that happened on their campus around parents coming in, families coming in and helping the students or participating with the students in some way. And I think that is a positive thing. I want to mention that, and I want to mention it intentionally because I want to be grateful for all the families that we have in this community, families that have similar beliefs and families that have differing beliefs. So that's my say something positive. And we have Dory had to join by Zoom tonight, so hopefully we'll channel her in.
All right, Dory, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my say something positive is just going to echo what Greg said about the mother-son dance and the father-daughter dance. We had a child able to attend both of them, and they both had fun, and I was just so glad to have that back happening again.
Thank you. moving on. This is a meeting of the Center School District Board of Directors. It is being held in public, but it is not a meeting of the public. To speak during the meeting, contact Tammy Lickletter at the district office prior to 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting to be added to the list of speakers. We're now going to have public input on non-agenda items, but before we do that, I'm going to have a statement that I'm going to read from the Board of Directors to everybody, and it'll be public. I'll then call upon people to speak. I then have a list of speakers, and I will call on them to speak. This will be after I make my statement. We have a record number of speakers tonight. We have over 30, and we've never had more than 17, and so we're at double. I'm going to take the heat off of the other board members and Pete, because it's the board chair's prerogative to shorten the time. These are business meetings that we hold because we're required by law, and we hold them in public. But it's a business meeting of the board of directors to do district business. We allow for and we embrace public input and civil discourse, and we want people to be heard. We normally give 2 minutes. I take sole responsibility tonight. I'm going to shave the time to 1 minute per person. If you think that is inadequate, I understand and I apologize, and you can email anything that you didn't get said in your 1 minute. You can email it to Pete, to me, to any of the other board members. We are happy to take that and listen. But I felt it was a better approach to give each person 1 minute and allow as many people to speak, rather than do a first come, first serve, and cut it off, and then you have people who are disenfranchised and not able to speak. It's a shorter time, but my decision was that that was more inclusive. If you disagree with it, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can, and I don't claim to be perfect by any means. So that is my decision, and we will be having 1 minute per person. We will be civil. There is law enforcement on the premise. If you are disrespectful, I don't care what your view is. I don't care if you agree with me or disagree. If you agree with me and you're the one who's being uncivil, I will have you removed. Okay? I have said every meeting, this is not the first time, you will hear something you disagree with tonight. Okay? Everybody in this room is going to agree with something and disagree with something. That's the beauty of having a board, is we have to make decisions knowing that no matter what decision we make, somebody's going to agree and somebody's going to disagree, and we do the best we can. Somebody's going to say something tonight that somebody in the room doesn't like. You will still be respectful. Okay? First off, I have a statement from the board. We want to thank all the people who've taken time to comment on Procedure 3211P, which was passed back in January. This procedure is available online, may be accessed and read online by anyone. Please go and read it. I've received comments and emails from people that I can tell by what they said they haven't even read it. They took somebody's word for what it says. Please go and read it. Again, it's readily available. If you do read it, you'll see that the allegation that the procedure... Sorry. If you do, you will see that the procedure is not anti-trans. It is not. That is untrue. The procedure recognizes the rights of all students that attend the Center School, regardless of their identity. It instructs staff explicitly to treat all students respectfully, and it instructs staff to honor students' requests for name or pronoun changes. The procedure complies with all state laws. A more accurate way to describe the procedure would be to call it pro-family. This procedure, like many other procedures in this district and in other districts statewide, acknowledges and affirms the legal rights of parents surrounding the upbringing of their children. Though the Center School Board values parents, recognizes the importance of parent involvement in achieving the best educational outcomes, and seeks to collaborate with parents whenever possible. Parents are the first teachers of all students and possess legal rights that schools do not when it comes to the welfare of their children. In short, The students are the parents' kids, not the school's kids. Now, this position of being pro-family in education is not unique to the center. It's not unique to this district. It's not unique to this state. It's not unique to this nation. Before America was founded, people have had the right in all countries and all civilizations and all cultures to see about the upbringing of their own children. The position of being pro-family is also shared by WASDA. I'll explain what WASDA is. WASDA is the WSSDA, or the Washington State School Directors Association. Okay? That is the association made up of all 295 school boards across the state of Washington. It includes the Center School Board is a member, Camas is a member, Ridgefield is a member, Woodland is a member, Seattle Public Schools is a member. At WASDA's General Assembly last year, they adopted a family statement. This is the official statement of WASDA, not of the Center School District, but of the statewide association that was voted on by 295 school districts across our state. And I'll read it. Washington State School District Association supports parents, and families are important stakeholders in their child's education. Studies clearly show when parents and families are involved and engaged, it has a significant impact on student academic success and wellness. Schools should reduce barriers to parent-family participation to improve connections, to improve collaboration, partnerships, and transparency. So the state association believes that schools should be partnering with and collaborating with and fully transparent with the parents of the students that we serve. That's a statewide association. That's not the Center Schools' sole belief. It has long been recognized by all schools that when parents are involved, the students do better. That's why the Center Schools has always tried to collaborate with parents in the district. Parents have the final say in how their kids are educated. Parents decide if a kid is homeschooled, or if they attend a private school, or if they seek a boundary exception to attend another public school outside of our boundaries, or if they decide to enroll them at this local school. The parents have that say, and we don't even get the opportunity to educate the children unless the parents give us their written permission. Again, because the parents possess rights that the schools do not. We include parents every step of the way in the process. We have parent-teacher conferences to inform parents of their students' progress. We send home report cards to tell them what their grades are. If a child wins a Student of the Month award, we call the parents and invite them to the assembly to see their child be honored. If a student has a discipline issue, we call home and we get the parents involved. If a student is behind on their lunch balance, we call them. We call our parents so much, like every school. Every school has a robocalling system because there's so many calls and so many times we have to notify parents. It gets done electronically. It's the only efficient way to do it, is with a computer, because we have to call parents so often. If a student wants to go on a field trip, we need the parents' permission. We need legal permission from the parents to allow their students to participate in extracurricular activities, such as athletics. You can't play soccer unless your mom and dad sign a waiver. We involve parents in decisions of traffic flow patterns on our campuses because we know it goes more smoothly with the parents' cooperation. Nobody's ever been stuck in line waiting to drop their kid off or pick their kid up, right? No. It can be complicated, but we involve parents because with the parents' help, things work better. Finally, as a graduation requirement, all students at the center have to conduct a student-led conference with a teacher and their parents during their senior year. We involve parents every step of the way for two reasons. One, we have to, because parents possess legal rights that schools do not. And two, because we know that when parents are involved, students do better. The people who want to argue against 3211P want to make the argument that it is dangerous to inform parents about their children. That's not true. Parents are not dangerous. They love their children. They seek to do what is in their children's best interest every single day. And that is why WASDA, who represents every school board across the entire state, adopted the official position that school boards recognize the importance of collaborating and being transparent with parents. We post every single policy that we have online. I went through a deep dive on our policies this week, and I stopped at 30. When I got to 30 policies that either had a requirement that we notify parents or a requirement for the school that we get a written permission from a parent about something. I stopped at 30. This isn't the only policy that involves parents. All of our, if you started in our 2000 series on instruction, every policy is about how parents have the right to inspect what's in the library, to see what the curriculum is, to see what the kids are being taught. And it goes on and on and on. The La Center School Board believes in the parents of our district. We thank them for believing in us enough to enroll their kids here. We thank them for collaborating with us in all aspects of their children's education. And we will be unwavering and unapologetic in seeking to inform them, involve them, and collaborate with them going forward. Because we know that great parents make for great kids and great schools. Thank you. So, that is where we stand. We don't seek to alienate anyone. We seek to do the best by all kids, the best we can at all times. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. I have highlighted parents because I trust in them and we believe in them overall, but parents aren't perfect. There are parents that make mistakes too. But good policy comes from trusting in parents, honoring their legal rights, and honoring their right to see to the upbringing of their children. I will always err on doing what I think is in the best interest of parents raising their own children. Whether that parent shares my views or not, I will honor that parent's rights to raise their child as they see fit, even when it's different than my own view. I'm not going to apologize for that. You are welcome to disagree with me on that. You are welcome to call for a recall on me for that. But I believe parents possess those rights, and I do not find it to be a radical position to embrace and honor the right of the parent to raise their own child. Even when they do it the exact opposite of how I would, it is still their child, not mine. I'm an imperfect person that's raised 4 great but imperfect kids. I didn't get it right the whole time, but I don't seek to raise anyone else's kids. I raised mine, okay? It's a lot of work. It's hard. I don't want to raise your kids. I'm not out to shove anything down anybody's throat. I'm not out to promote hate or ask anyone to do anything they don't want to do. I raise my kids how I want to raise them, and God bless you, you raise yours how you want to raise yours. And that's all I have to say. Now, again, I take full responsibility for the 1-minute time frame. Again, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. I'm going to hold everybody to the same 1-minute standard. Please, I've already heard from some people, and I know it's going to be unpopular that it's 1 minute. Keep to your 1 minute, and rather than try to drag it on or say something derogatory that you only got 1 minute, email me. I'm happy to read your email, and I'm happy to listen. All right? And again, be civil. Do not. This is to the audience. This isn't just to the speaker. We'll hear the speakers, whether they agree or disagree. Do not interrupt our speakers. I believe in their First Amendment rights. I believe in their right to come and tell me what a horrible job I'm doing. That's fine. Okay? But we're not going to interrupt them. First speaker, Cecilia Franks. And then for efficiency, we'll allow Cecilia to go first. I apologize. Again, there's over 30 names. I mean intentionally to pronounce every person's name appropriately. If I mess it up, I'll apologize in advance. I may just give you a last initial, all right? We'll have Cecilia first, Heather Frey second, and Aaron Smelser third. Cecilia, go ahead.
I'm ready. My name is Cecilia Franks, third generation from La Center and the great-granddaughter of Lady Agnes Waterhouse, the first person executed for witchcraft in England, July 29, 1566. I'm still here and her blood still flows through me. This is not 16th century England. Myself, my community, and these children will not be put on trial in these United States in the year 2023 based on your distorted and dangerous interpretation of the Bible. This nation was founded on the separation of church and state. Whether you are uneducated to the fact or disagree does not change that it is a fact. If you prefer the Bible in your education, I provided a list of local private Christian schools that may be better suited for your services and the needs of a group of like-minded parents. Hail Dader, Hail Dad Senior, Hail Not och Nit, Åredom Augum, Litet Ostinig och Givit Sejondom Seger, Hail Your Asir, Hail Our O Senior, Hail Sjå en Fjolnittefold, Mal och Manvid, Givit oss mer.
Heather, please. Sure. We will have Eunice Ingermanson speak in Heather's place.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. I'm Eunice Ingermanson from Battleground. My pronouns are she, her. Mr. Rosencrantz was recently quoted as saying we nixed social science in favor of biology. I too only knew about sex and XY until my own child came out, and I was ready for more biology. Recent studies in biology have identified 4 main factors as key mechanisms for gender incongruence: genes, hormones, epigenetics, and the environment. I'm in awe of how each of us is made. The key point, though, is not so much a rule on who gets to be male or female, but making our schools a safe place where students of all identities can survive and thrive. Please use evidence-based best practices for making schools a level playing field for all students. Please interpret even FORPATH through the lens of student safety. Thank you.
Yep. Aaron is next, and that will be followed by Gail Bowles and Dulcie Neiman.
Okay. You are the superintendent and school board for a public school district. Your intentions for taking these roles should be to protect the interest of all students. Your intention should not be protecting the interest of your particular religious sect, political group, or political personal agenda. Public schools do not and cannot impose the religious or political beliefs of their board or superintendent on the students or staff of the schools. Students' rights, students' safety, students' ability to succeed in a safe learning environment is your lane. It does not matter how many interviews you give claiming to be an expert on biology, or how many extremists you personally invite to our school board meetings to spread misinformation and stroke your ego. You are a state employee, bound by the rules of that body. That is your lane. If you have to make accommodations for trans students, that is your lane. If you are uncomfortable with that, or if you are putting your religious beliefs before your duties as superintendent or school board member, you should step down.
And then Brittany.
Gail Bowles, and I'm a resident of La Center. In these meetings and in conservative circles, I have frequently heard the statement expressed loudly and emphatically, God made them male and female, as if this answers all the questions about gender and its diversity. The Bible also says that God made night and day, but there's also dusk and dawn. Granted, most of our 24 hours are night and day, but that doesn't mean that the minority parts of our day aren't also valid and parts of God's design. And some of the most spectacular skies that attest to God's amazing creative powers are seen in sunrises and sunsets. It's overly simplistic to talk about things in such binary terms of male and female or night and day. The allegorical language of the Bible isn't meant to be an explanation of the biological sciences, and it should not be used as a weapon of contempt.
Then Brittany, and then Buffy Sparta.
Hi, my name is Dulcie Mimi. I'm a parent to a first and third grader here in the district, and I've lived here for over a decade. I'm not going to actually go over what I wrote just because I want to educate you a little bit. I'm a volunteer guardian ad litem for children who've been taken away from their parents because of abuse. I love what you said. Parents love their children. We hope that. I have children on my caseload right now who have broken bones from their parents. There are 10,000 children in foster care in the state of Washington because their parents abuse them. We have good parents. There are also bad parents. We just need to keep that in mind. You as educators have an ethical standard to keep children safe. And a small minority might be affected by their parents knowing they're transgender, but they could be in serious danger. And I just want you to know that. There are hundreds of kids on the docket in Clark County each week because they've been taken away from their parents. And just please keep that in mind when you're considering this policy.
Hi, my name is Brittany Lissane. I'm a parent here in La Center. In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line at the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny. I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. 1963, George Wallace. If you want to get in a fight with the one that started separation of races, then you should come face to face with your God. The difference in color, the difference in our body, our minds, our life, our mission with the face of this earth is God-given. Pastor Henry Lyon, 1961. 60 years ago, these men and thousands others stood on the wrong side of history using science and religion. Many here are on the wrong side of history. I'm here in support of our students and teachers. I do believe that our parents should be involved in their kids' lives and know what is going on with them. A recent survey showed that 34,000 youth shows that nearly 1 in 5 transgender, non-binary youth attempted suicide. It's the lives of our children that we are putting at risk here. I'll send the rest an email.
Jim Sparger, Myrna Alejo. Okay, so we'll go Buffy, then Myrna, then James Clark.
Thank you. So I'm not even going to go with what I wrote, other than I want to say to each one of you up here, I appreciate you so much. And I'm blown away by what you read and what you said when. So I'm a mom. I've been a mom for 15 years. My kid doesn't go to school here anymore for the very reasons that we're discussing today. Because I cannot expose my child to somebody who thinks that they are better equipped to raise and guide her than me. These are parents in this room, and they love their children. And to this last gal that said, I'm sure there's children that are being abused by their kids or their parents, and it's very, very, very unfortunate, it needs to be addressed. But I don't think that anybody in this room has the right to say that they are better equipped 6.5 hours out of the day to deal with children over and above their parents. And Pete, I appreciate you.
Then James Clark, then Ed Borsegner.
Hi, I can honestly say that I love everyone in this room. I'm talking about human love and respect for each other as one human to another. But our society is wrongly equated with loving, with approving, and being extremely tolerant of everything. The center does not have to approve children of being encouraged or forced to pick a pronoun. This also only causes confusion. If the student wishes to use a pronoun, they can use a pronoun. They will be referred to a counselor, and discussion will happen with the parents. The RCW says that the district has the authority to amend policies to make sure that they are working well in their own district. This is not Chicago or Portland or Los Angeles. This is La Center. Superintendent Rosenkrantz favors working collaboratively with students and bringing counselors to the discussion and informing parents. Parents are responsible to have, in fact, parental rights over their children until age 18. The school's responsibility is teaching, reading, writing, math, and science.
Time.
Thank you.
Then Emily Hancock.
Hello, thank you. I think this is an issue of compelled speech versus free speech. Free speech is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Compelled speech is a tactic of communist and fascist regimes. Just like a Christian can't compel an atheist to say, "God bless you," when they sneeze, no one should be compelled to use someone else's preferred pronouns. So why should I can choose out of courtesy, but that shouldn't be my free choice. And I should not have to, and we have, let's see, I messed up with all the change in time, but anyway, we see tyrants like Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, Fidel Castro, and Che Guevara are known for their atrocities and crushing freedom. Our children should not be forced into an animal farm or 1984 world because adults in their lives are too ignorant or cowardly to protect them. Our children deserve a world rooted in truth and protected reality.
And then Emily, and then Justine Stim.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
My name is Ed Gorsecker. I live in the district. I have 4 children enrolled in the district and a 2-year-old at home, so I'll be directly affected by the district for roughly the next 16 years. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Pete. The reason that we settled in the center 4 years ago from moving all over the country for various reasons is because partly the educational standards in the center. I don't really need to say too much more because when you just about hit everything on the head that I wanted to talk about. One thing I will mention that concerns me is the increased level of aggression that I saw at the last board meeting. I really hope and pray that that aggression doesn't make its way into the school with the kids. I don't think our kids can deal with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Followed by Justine and then Jake Farmer.
The 2022 Healthy Youth Survey found that queer students are the most at-risk demographic at LCHS, with queer students having by far the highest rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Additionally, 45% of your queer students reported having little or no adult support. Less than a third of trans youth come from unsupportive homes, and for many trans youth, school is one of the few places where they can find safe, supportive adult figures. Queer youth with just one supportive adult in their life are 40% less likely to attempt suicide, but Policy 3211P takes away that opportunity for trans kids to find refuge and acceptance in their teachers. Please understand that by forcing trans students to either stay in the closet or be added to their families, you are contributing to a significantly increased likelihood of mental health struggles, abuse, homelessness, and suicide. You are actively and knowingly putting children in harm's way, and we will fight you every step of the way on this until the policy is changed. Your trans students deserve better.
Jake Farmer, and then Tamara Huss.
Good evening, my name is Justine Stimmel and I have 3 children enlisted in our schools. Tonight, the parents' agenda is facts, unity, the truth, and common sense. And with all the noise surrounding the pronoun policy, it has been a bit disturbing to witness disrespect and lies in the community and across the community of Clark County. The people upset with Superintendent Rosenkrantz are mostly not from here. They claim we hate them. That is furthest from the truth. Wise parents will not submit to uniformity. We will live in a land of liberty where we can decide how to raise our children. Distorted views of family that undermines parental rights is in fact chaotic. We must restore order. Certainty comes with order, and order, certainty. I won't allow anyone to blur that and what that looks like for my family. And I appreciate the letter that Pete has wrote, and please go to ClarkCountyToday.com to look at the real facts of this whole story. The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being in this room and across this school and all of our backgrounds. But I want to say again, like I did last time, I declare this again, let there be light in the name of Jesus in the Center School District. Amen.
Respect your time, please. Jake Palmer, then Tamara Huss, then Matthew Huss. No Jake? Then we'll move on to Tamara. Matthew Huss. Trish Huddleston. And then there is a Mike who did not provide the last name, followed by Kathy Bounds.
My name is Trish Huddleston, and I am from a neighboring district, Woodland. I am a fellow school board director and your elected DA6 WASDA Ledge representative. I wanted to come and express my gratitude for the work this board has done. When I learned of the policy 3211 revision, I started stalking your website, reading through all your meeting minutes, watching recordings, and I cannot express how grateful and impressed I am with LaCenter's courage and pro-family stance, especially under the pressure from opposing hostile groups. Myself and many other districts are watching and waiting to see how OSPI responds, then we will be advocating for our districts to do the same. The schools employ trained counselors and psychologists for the students to confide in. That is not the job of teachers. Teachers are hired to educate and shouldn't be put in difficult positions of hiding serious mental health issues from families. I couldn't imagine being a teacher and having to keep up with several students changing their names and pronouns every other day, then remembering which secret to keep from which parents. Where are the parents or the teachers' rights in this? And I don't think it's healthy for kids to be leading double lives from school to home.
After Mike will be Kathy, and then Joseph with a P. Joseph P.
Mike, 38-year lifelong resident here in Clark County. My wife and I have 3 children, 2 daughters, 1 son. This policy here at LaCenter accurately represents the majority perspective of parents and students. Most students don't want to go around having them constantly asked about their gender. And if somebody does want that, then they can. The policy doesn't deny them that. Somebody should read that. So we know that this is a very awkward season in life when somebody's grouped together by age, the only time in life where this ever happens. You're the same age, living in the same location. We're looking for belonging and acceptance a lot of times in middle school and high school. Really important season. We also know that 94 to 96% of the time when somebody's identifying with gender dysphoria, they think they have gender dysphoria, they come to the realization that they do not have it. And all of us parents, all of us adults, we can relate to this awkward season of growing up. So what's really important for us to remember, after you graduate, you're going to be separated based on work ethic, discipline. Genesis 1:26, really important. Jesus' character, he loves you so much.
Then Joseph, and followed by Eric Mills.
Hi, my name is Kathy Bounds, and I have been teaching in the district nearly 30 years. And I do have to say it pains me today to see where the district is leading. Your focus has been swept up in emotionally charged and divisive issues. For months, this community has been torn to shreds, pitting neighbor against neighbor. Is this good for kids? Is this helping them? The names of 31 teachers was posted on a politically charged website stating that we needed to be targeted. Our pictures had to be removed from the district webpage for our safety. Words matter. People could get hurt. Anger, blame, and shame are never going to bring this community together, but you do have the power to choose something different. You can focus on helping kids catch up on learning loss from a global pandemic. Kids today are riddled with anxiety and depression. You can focus on best practices to support our kids' social and emotional
time on Pete's thing, and I'm capable of calling the time. Don't fall into the bait that someone else set. I can call the time. I'm confident of that. Thank you. Joseph, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Joseph Clogger. I'm a resident of the district, and I have one son who will be going here in the fall. Speaking to your comments earlier about the trust parents, and I'm a parent, I trust parents, and parents are a very, very important part of the children's lives. But not all parents are safe. To require teachers to report to parents if they use a gender identity or a pronoun that is not the same as what they were assigned at birth can be very dangerous. A student of yours recently approached my wife and I that his parents, his family found out that he was using different pronouns, and he was physically abused by his parents and his older sibling. He tried to come to us to find a safe place to be, but we legally could not let him stay with us without his parents' permission. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Mills, followed by Sean Emerson and Gary Wilson.
Okay, ready? Hello, my name is Eric Mills, an actual father of kids in the Center School District. I'd like to take this time to thank you guys for listening to the last few meetings. Really appreciate it. The school board has given many options in many ways to have these children. If they want to use pronouns, cool, they can use them. But I do not want to see my child forced to tell their identity to somebody. I mean, their name should be enough. Also, I do not think that a child is mature enough to change and make life-altering decisions without the consent of their parents. Without the consent. You're telling a child that is not even mentally stable, not mentally mature enough, is going to make lifelong altering decisions. That's not okay. And then they're trying to push it where the school district's trying to hide it from their parents. Not acceptable. Zero. Thank you.
Emerson, followed by Gary Wilson and Sally Snyder.
Thank you for introducing me. I graduated the center in 1981. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. For those of you here who play the pronoun games, you may refer to me as my Lord or His Royal Highness, because if I have to cater to your delusions and fantasies, it's only fair you cater to mine. For the tiny minority who actually suffer from gender dysphoria, and it's statistically unlikely that any students in this district qualify, I know of no competent clinical treatment that advises you to confirm and validate such delusion. These people are hurting and need help, not validation. We're under no obligation to accept them as they are when they clearly couldn't accept themselves as they are. Kids try to jerk the chains of the adults in charge of them. Demanding others to alter the language to suit the kids is frequently nothing but a way to gain control of the dynamic between them and adults. They know they can count on the virtue signaling woke crowd to defend their right to demand others to conform to the reality. This undermines the authority and discipline and subsequently detracts from the ability of the school to educate the children. To the board, we have your back.
There are 3 Washington RCWs that apply to schools about protecting students from discrimination, including on the basis of gender. 2 specifically state they are to eliminate discrimination in Washington public schools. The 3rd states harassment, intimidation, or bullying means any intentional electronic, written, verbal, or physical act. Nowhere in the RCWs do they state schools are to withhold gender pronoun information from parents. In fact, the only part of these RCWs that directly speak to the parents is that the school district's policy be shared with the parents. Now, mandatory reporting does include parents if the school suspects the parents are abusing the child. However, Mrs. Smilzer, a La Center paraeducator and one of the authors of the complaint against the school district, said that she adheres to a moral and state-provided responsibility of reporting potentially dangerous family situations. I'd like her to show where the RCW states that. There's nothing in these RCWs that deny a parent's right to information. Their child, due to unsubstantiated dangers in the mind of an overzealous
Sally, followed by Derek Schaefer and Sean Boyle.
The school system is failing our children and focusing on unnecessary narrative. All the schools, not just La Center, have failing academic report cards. OSPI data shows La Center's overall standards being met for English at 48.7%, science at 38%, and math at 32.2%. These numbers are pathetic. While we fight over gender pronouns and ask our children lies like, what sex were you assigned at birth? Female? Male? This question is on your agenda under the Washington State Healthy Youth Survey. This year, schools can decide to ask elementary 6th graders, what is your gender? Boy, girl, something else fits better? I ask this board not to participate with adding this additional question. Parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's upbringing, not important stakeholders.
Derek Schaefer, Sean Boyle, Teresa Holmes.
Eric Schaefer, I have a daughter that attends La Center Elementary, and I would like to share my concerns with the negative attention Superintendent Rosencrantz and the school board have received. As the state has already concluded that the District of La Center to be doing all the right things in regards to inclusivity and provided many reasonable solutions for a student to give their pronouns. Some people in this room can't take that conclusion and be happy. It seems people pushing for more and more will just never be happy until the core family values of parent and child are completely dismantled. The idea of a school being able to keep information from parents regarding their child's sexual preference or any mental, emotional issue or well-being is absurd. The District of La Center is better than this. I sympathize for you, Mr. Rosencrantz, as I'm sure this has been a huge strain on your life. Hang in there, and the vast majority of La Center has your back.
Teresa Holmes and Karen Ford.
Good evening, school board and fellow members of the community. My name is Sean Boyle, and as a La Center resident, taxpayer, parent of La Center school children, and active member of the community, I bring myself here tonight to show my full support of our school district's board and our superintendent on their stance in regards to gender expression and gender identity policies and questions by some of those in opposition. Justifying logic to people that aren't a part of our community would be a wasted time for all. This school board is not only acting on the personal beliefs of a majority of the people and their children that reside here, but also in accordance with the current OSPI guidelines. I believe that children's safety and well-being is top priority amongst the school district and its educators. If there is a solution other than what has already been enacted, I am confident that the school board will accept and fast-track any policy and procedures in the name of education to promote what's best for all children's safety and well-being. As to the many people that come here to speak without any sort of reasonable logic or ties to our community, your words will fall on deaf ears. Thank you to Mr. Rosencrantz and the district school board.
Marie Emerson.
My name is Teresa Holmes. My husband and I live in district and wish the civil rights complaint would be withdrawn. It is a vacuum that is sucking time and energy away from our school district task of educating students. I don't know, but since there are a lot more La Center school employees than the 30 who signed the original complaint, I am assuming there is a schism amongst employees who signed and those who chose not to sign. This can't be good. Regardless, we support Pete and our school board as they fight this complaint. Thank you very much for your hard work on this matter. You are wise to support our district families so that parents know we all have a common goal, educating kids to be productive members of society. Pushing pronouns is not unifying, it's polarizing. Thank you.
Karen Ford and Marie Emerson. Karen? Marie Emerson. Tricia Davis. Oh. Hello, are you, which one are you? I missed a couple, I missed.
Marie Emerson.
Okay, so Maria's up, Tricia Davis, and then Bonnie Ruiz.
My name is Marie Emerson. I've worked in academia. Power is everywhere, and so is the potential for abuse of power. Foucault's book, The History of Sexuality, vilified traditional norms and practices of family, labeling it as repressive. Foucauldian approaches are in the classroom. This man's message was that we should all be sexually liberated. Teachers now push this smut towards our children, messaging that it's okay to be socially deviant and to rebel against the structures of power which supposedly repress them. It's unacceptable when teachers cross moral and ethical lines with our kids. Foucault used academia as a cloak to legitimize sexual deviance. The same thing is happening in our classrooms. What I observe are barely functioning illiterates graduating school. If I asked what your kinks are, I would be ostracized as a deviant. Yet teachers do without consequence. Why is it okay when asked of a minor? When met with angry parents, they characterize themselves as victims. Foucault is right. The structure of power is top-down. Here it's coming directly from union teachers who abuse their power.
Davis and Bonnie Ruiz.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I will be very brief because you said everything that I wanted to say, and it was very eloquent, so I thank you. I am a mom of 3, and I'm their parent. I know what is best, I nourish, I love, and I care for them. I'm asking that the teachers to stick to teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm asking the government to stay in their lane and let the parents do their job, which is to nourish and guide our children. I want to thank you for your courage, and the surrounding community is watching, and I hope they are taking note, because what you're doing is right and justified. Thank you.
My name is Bonnie Ruiz, and I'm here on behalf of Clark County Moms for America. I would first like to thank La Center School Board and Superintendent Rosencrans for respecting parents' rights and honoring the La Center community's First Amendment rights. The First Amendment enshrines our God-given rights to practice our religion and free speech. In Genesis 1:27, the Bible tells us, God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. To ask us to deny this very basic truth goes against the very core of who we are as humans and children of God. As mothers, fathers, and citizens of the greatest republic, we ask you to continue to stand strong in supporting their rights, and we will continue to stand with you. Benjamin Franklin said, the ordaining of laws in favor of one part of the nation to the prejudice and oppression of another is certainly the most erroneous and mistaken policy. Gender dysphoria is a real disorder and should be treated as such. As a Christian and a mom, I will continue to love and pray for all, just as Jesus did.
Okay, that concludes the public input on non-agenda items. I do want to take one quick moment before we move on. I mentioned earlier report cards and going home with, or sending information home to parents. And I'm just gonna hope you all indulge me for a second. When I read an RCW regarding report cards, I
It's always like different wackiness.